Part 1. The Prophecy Tightens. Mountains, Madness, and Separation. The novel opens on the cold heights of the Mountains of Mist, where winter still clings stubbornly to the land. Rand al'Thor stands apart from his friends, staring eastward as if he can already see the path fate has carved for him. The revelations at Falme have made anonymity impossible. Thousands witnessed his duel with Baalzamon blazing across the sky. Across the Westlands, rumors spread that the dragon has been reborn. Some call him savior, many more call him destroyer. To Rand, both titles feel like chains. The psychological burden weighs more heavily than any army. He now knows three things with certainty. He can channel Sidon. He is prophesied to face the Dark One, and every man who channels eventually goes mad. These facts intertwine until they seem inseparable. He begins to interpret every strange thought or temper flare as the first sign of insanity. Luz Theron Telamon, the man he once was, feels less like a historical figure and more like a ghost waiting inside his skull. Moiraine does not argue with him anymore. Instead, she works indirectly, studying prophecy and preparing for inevitabilities. She recognizes that Rand must come to acceptance himself. Pressuring him will only push him away. Lan, pragmatic as ever, trains Rand in swordsmanship and survival, treating him as a warrior rather than a chosen one. This simple normalcy offers Rand a rare moment of grounding, yet events accelerate beyond contemplation. Perrin begins dreaming again of wolves and distant dangers. In Tel'aran'rhiod, the wolf dream, he senses Rand moving farther and farther away, almost as if chasing something unseen. Perrin realizes Rand is deliberately distancing himself from everyone. The fear is clear. Rand plans to leave. Mat Cauthon provides a contrasting presence. After being healed of the dagger's corruption in the White Tower, he seems physically restored, but psychologically restless. Confinement irritates him. He jokes, gambles, and grumbles about Aes Sedai manipulation, but beneath the humor lies something deeper, a fierce desire to choose his own life. Where Rand dreads destiny, Mat rebels against it. Then Rand disappears. Without warning, he leaves camp in the night, heading south alone. His motive is both selfish and sacrificial. If he isolates himself, perhaps the Shadow will stop targeting his friends. More profoundly, he wants to confront whatever he must become on his own terms. If madness comes, he would rather face it alone. Moiraine immediately understands that Rand is moving toward Tear. The Stone of Tear holds Callandor, the crystal sword that only the Dragon Reborn can wield. Prophecy states that when Callandor is taken, the dragon's rebirth will be undeniable. Whether Rand intends it or not, the pattern is pulling him toward that moment. So the group divides. Perrin, Mat, and Loyal set off to follow Rand's trail. Moiraine, Lan, and others take separate routes. Meanwhile, Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine remain in the White Tower, though their path is about to fracture as well. The structure of the novel becomes clear. Rand races alone toward destiny, while everyone else struggles desperately to catch up. Part 2. The White Tower fractures. Back in Tar Valon, the girl's story begins not with adventure but suspicion. The White Tower, once a place of awe and safety, has revealed itself to be deeply compromised. The discovery of the Black Aja, Aes Sedai secretly sworn to the Shadow, has shattered their trust in the institution. Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine now live in a strange duality. By day they are novices or accepted, bound by strict discipline. By night they quietly investigate traitors within the tower itself. Their mentor, Varen Mathwin, supports them in her absent-minded yet unsettlingly perceptive way, while Sheriam encourages their growth without giving too much away. The sense persists that everyone in the tower knows more than they say. Then the Black Aja makes its move. Liandrin reappears, luring 13 sisters to flee Tar Valon together. Before escaping, they murder several people and steal dangerous Terangriel. Their flight confirms that the Shadow has infiltrated the tower at a disturbingly high level. Worse, Liandrin was once trusted. If someone like her could be Black Aja, anyone could. Siwan Sanche sees an opportunity disguised as disaster. Officially, the girls are too inexperienced for field work. Unofficially, their youth makes them less noticeable. She quietly sends Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine after the Black Aja, hoping to gather intelligence and perhaps disrupt their plans. It is a risky gamble. 3 barely trained women hunting 13 full Aes Sedai. This decision marks a major thematic shift. Up until now, the younger characters have been protected. Now they are being used, trusted, but also sacrificed if necessary. The last battle demands risks. Traveling by ship and road, the trio experiences the world not as students, but as operatives. They learn to lie convincingly, to adopt false names, to gather information from inns and docks. Nynaeve's fierce protectiveness clashes with Egwene's growing independence. Elaine's political education proves unexpectedly useful. She knows how to talk to nobles, how to read intentions, how to manipulate social currents. Their trail leads toward Ter. It becomes clear that multiple factions are converging on the same city. Rand, the Black Aja, and now the girls. Ter, long hostile to Aes Sedai and prophecy alike, seems destined to become a crucible. Meanwhile, Egwene experiments more deeply with Tel'aran'rhiod. Guided partly by Perrin's earlier descriptions and partly by instinct, she begins entering the dream world deliberately. There she glimpses symbols, a stone fortress, 13 women, and Rand surrounded by shadows. The dream confirms what logic already suggests. The pattern is tightening. By choosing to pursue the Black Aja, the girls cross a moral threshold. They are no longer apprentices. They are players. Part 3. Hunters, Wolves, and the Reluctant Hero. Perrin and Matt's pursuit of Rand provides the novel's most grounded and character-driven section. Unlike Rand's mythic trajectory or the girls' spycraft, their journey feels human, almost mundane at times. Yet it is precisely this normalcy that highlights their growth. Perrin continues wrestling with his wolf nature. The wolves call him Young Bull and urge him toward instinct, toward violence and pack loyalty. He fears losing himself. To Perrin, humanity is measured by restraint. Every time he listens to the wolves, he worries he is stepping away from who he is. Still, the wolf dream helps him track Rand, and he cannot deny its usefulness. Matt, recently freed from the dagger's taint, is a bundle of contradictions. He claims he wants nothing to do with Aes Sedai, prophecy, or the Dragon Reborn. He just wants gambling, taverns, and pretty girls, yet he follows Rand anyway. Loyalty trumps self-interest, even when he complains constantly. This tension between stated desires and actual behavior defines Matt's character. He insists he is selfish, but repeatedly risks himself for others. During their travels, they encounter dark friends, assassins, and rumors of chaos spreading across nations. Everywhere they go, Rand's name has preceded them. False dragons rise and fall, armies move. The world is destabilizing simply because prophecy exists. At one point, Perrin and Matt meet Zareen Basher, called Fele, a young Saldean woman who has declared herself a hunter for the Horn. Though the horn has already been blown, many hunters continue seeking adventure and glory. Fail attaches herself to Perrin's group with stubborn determination, intrigued by Perrin's quiet strength. Her boldness and sharp tongue unsettle him. She sees through his attempts to appear simple. Fail's presence adds emotional complexity. For the first time, Perrin is forced to consider relationships outside childhood bonds. It foreshadows the broader adult lives these characters are stumbling into. Matt, meanwhile, shows an uncanny streak of luck. Dice seem to favor him unnaturally. He wins money, escapes danger narrowly, and pulls off feats that feel statistically impossible. The pattern, it seems, has marked him as strongly as Rand. He simply doesn't realize it yet. Eventually, they learn Rand has headed straight for Tyr. The realization hits hard. He isn't running aimlessly. He's heading for Kalendor. Rand is not fleeing destiny anymore. He is walking straight into it. Part 4. Tyr. Tyr is unlike any city the characters have seen. Wealthy, decadent, and deeply superstitious, it has outlawed the One Power for centuries. The Stone of Tyr, its massive fortress, has never fallen. Within it lies Kalendor, the sword that prophecy says only the dragon can wield. Tyr's rulers, the High Lords, consider these prophecies heresy. Their attempt to deny fate has ironically made their city the perfect stage for it. Rand arrives alone and half-feral. Weeks of isolation, dreams of Baalzamon, and repeated channeling have worn him down. He talks to himself sometimes. He feels watched constantly. At times, he deliberately channels just to prove he still can. The thrill frightens him as much as the madness. Power feels intoxicating. Lanfear reappears, still masquerading as Selene, still pushing him toward glory. She tempts him with visions of empire, urging him to seize Kalendor and rule. Unlike Ishmael's threats, her persuasion is seductive. She doesn't want him destroyed. She wants him triumphant and by her side. This distinction unsettles Rand even more. Meanwhile, the Black Aja sisters arrive in Tyr and begin plotting within the stone itself. Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine infiltrate the city under false identities, coordinating secretly with Matt and Perrin once paths cross. The reunions are brief and tense. Everyone has changed. The city becomes a web of converging threads. Rand sneaks through shadows toward the stone. Perrin tracks wolf dream warnings of danger. Matt gambles and stumbles into intelligence networks. The girls hunt Black Aja sisters and stolen Terran Grail. Dark friends prepare traps, and Forsaken maneuver behind the scenes. Dreams intensify for all of them. Baalzamon appears repeatedly, taunting Rand and threatening the others. The dream world feels porous now. Injuries seem almost real. The boundary between waking and dream erodes. Tension mounts until it becomes clear that something massive will happen within the stone itself. The pattern has drawn every piece onto the board. Part 5. Kalendor and the public birth of the dragon events explode into motion in a single night. Matt, frustrated with waiting and determined to rescue the girls from their own dangerous plans, storms the stone almost single-handedly. Armed only with a quarterstaff and sheer audacity, he defeats trained guards and blunders into the dungeon levels. In doing so, he inadvertently frees Egwene, Elaine, and Nynaeve from captivity after the Black Aja capture them. His reckless courage becomes the catalyst for their escape. Perrin, guided by wolves through Tel'aran'rhiod, senses Shadowspawn and Forsaken converging. He fights Trollocs inside the stone's corridors, fully embracing the wolf within him for the first time. Instead of fearing the connection, he uses it. This acceptance marks a crucial step in his arc. Humanity is not lost through strength, only through surrendering compassion. Rand penetrates deeper into the stone, half drawn by dreams, half by destiny. Ba'alzamon appears physically now, no longer confined to nightmares. The confrontation feels inevitable, like two magnets snapping together. Inside the heart of the stone, Kalendor waits, suspended in crystal light. Ba'alzamon mocks him, claiming inevitability. The shadow cannot lose, he insists. Rand is only repeating Luz Theron's failure. The argument is psychological as much as magical. Despair versus hope. Then Rand stops running. For the first time, he consciously chooses. He seizes Kalendor. The sword floods him with unimaginable power, far greater than anything he has ever touched. Saidin blazes through him like liquid sunlight. Instead of losing himself, he finds clarity. The fear is still there, but it no longer controls him. Their duel tears through both the stone and Tel'aran'rhiod simultaneously. Reality fractures. Perrin, fighting in the wolf dream, witnesses the battle echoing across worlds. It becomes clear that this fight exists on multiple levels at once. Rand finally kills Ba'alzamon, not banishing him, but slaying him bodily. The corpse left behind reveals the truth. Ba'alzamon was Ishamael, a man, one of the Forsaken, not the Dark One himself. The godlike enemy was a lie. This revelation is enormous. If the Dark One's greatest champion can die, then the shadow is not invincible. Below, chaos sweeps the stone. Prophecy unfolds openly. The dragon banner rises. The heart of the stone, long thought impregnable, has fallen. When dawn breaks, Tyr wakes to an impossible sight. The Dragon Reborn stands atop the stone, Kalendor in hand. Not rumor, not dream, not distant battle in the sky. Visible fact. The dragon has taken the stone of Tyr. Nations cannot deny it anymore. Rand, exhausted but resolute, understands what this means. He can't hide. He can't pretend. Leadership is no longer optional. People will rally or rebel, but either way they will look to him. His friends gather around him, no longer just villagers from Emond's Field, but figures of growing legend themselves. The game has changed. The dragon has declared himself to the world. Closing reflection. The Dragon Reborn is a novel about acceptance. Unlike the first two books, where Rand resists or reacts, this story charts the moment he steps forward willingly. He does not conquer fear. He acts despite it. That distinction defines his growth. At the same time, every major character crosses a threshold. Egwene becomes a dream walker and survivor. Nynaeve acts as a leader rather than a protector. Elaine learns political and practical cunning. Perrin accepts the wolf within him. Mat reveals himself as brave and lucky beyond reason, and Rand claims Kalendor and his name. The world also shifts. The shadow is no longer abstract. The Forsaken walk openly. The White Tower is compromised. Nations stir. Prophecy becomes politics. By the end, childhood is completely gone. If the eye of the world is flight and the great hunt is pursuit, then the Dragon Reborn is declaration. The dragon does not hide anymore. He rises, and the world must answer.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos.